Hello everyone, welcome to Tamirab Studio. In today's live stream, I will be testing my new tool that I recently purchased. I'm very excited about it. It's fountain pen that has carbon ink. Here's the label from the package. I love sketching with ink and watercolor washes, but I had trouble because I was using a regular Lamy pen and the ink will bleed. And supposedly carbon ink is not doesn't bleed after it's dry. So we're going to put it to the test today. So without further ado, let's start testing. I'm using Bristol paper. You can see my model, hopefully. Yeah, you should be able to. And I'm gonna start sketching. I marked the model very lightly on the page just to give me a guideline, and I'm gonna work with my ink on top of that. And if you would like to learn more about figure sketching, you can watch my class. It's on Udemy and on Skillshare, and all the information is on my website, tamirab.com. If you go to classes page, you should be able to see the classes that I teach, and there is a figure sketching class there. I'm just gonna slide my pen along the outline of the figure. And I'm slightly exaggerating the movement of the figure because I think it always looks better. Her shoulders are pretty even, but I want to make them at an angle to give the figure some additional movement. And the seams on clothing actually help us to describe our model. I'm gonna do this leg. And I always tell my students, if you have to run your figure off the page, it's really no big deal. It's better if the figure touches paper on 3 sides. So, we can mark the features like very lightly. There's something going on here. Give her a bit of a whimsical expression and a slight smile. And so this is the outline, and I usually like to kind of fill it in with a bit more line work to just describe my subject a little better. Even if those lines are not there, it doesn't matter. Maybe give her something to stand on and just do something in the background. Okay, and I'm going to set this one aside. I'm going to let the ink dry, and let's do another one. I'm going to find another photo. This one. Okay. So, just lightly marking with the pencil. It's really not that necessary, but I want my sketch to be more or less finished piece of art. If I were in a hurry working from a live model, I would probably not do this, just not to spend the time, but since I'm working from a photo, I can always give myself a bit of a head start with pencil sketch. This is actually more, I like seated models. It's just, they fill the page a little better. You don't get to work with just the vertical that you need to somehow position on the page, but sometimes you need to draw people standing. What I do sometimes, if I have just a model standing, you can draw several poses on the same page. That always looks really good. It's like they're all dancing or talking to each other or something like that. It's hard to tell on the black on black, so this is this arm. Goes this way, and their fingers are here. And this arm goes under, and you can see a bit of the wrist right here. There's the back. This leg has a bit of foreshortening, but we just need to look at the angles and draw it the way it is. And this one comes somewhere here. And I see the foot sticking out right here. And we're going to give her something to sit on. And we'll put something in the background. Some verticals. Some horizontal lines are always good. Add something here. Okay. So now I'll have to set this one aside to let it dry. And we can work on our first sketch. I don't really need the reference photo that much. I can kind of make an educated guess on what's going on here. I just want to add a little bit of color, so it doesn't really matter which colors, whatever you like. I lately like this, I think it's ultramarine purple. So let's see how that's gonna work. And Bristol is kind of interesting with watercolor. Paint really sinks into it, so you get some interesting effects when you apply watercolor to Bristol. You know, Bristol is made for inks. And as you can see, my ink doesn't bleed. So yay! That's what I'm gonna use from now on for my ink and wash sketches. Very excited about it. Maybe blend it. I also have this cobalt purple. It's too similar to the other one. Maybe we'll use a bit of blue, ultramarine blue. I need something warm on the other side. Give her a bit of realistic skin tone. I'm gonna kind of blend the shaded portion. So how about this one? Yeah, this will be good. Okay. And you see, I don't apply paint everywhere. That's if you're going for expressive effects, you need to preserve white paper. It's very important. Maybe we'll do, yeah, yellow behind her, and I will kill it on this side with the same purple. You want to balance. Now I'm getting like a grayed out mixture. It's important to balance your colors. And I need to do something with her feet so that she is more grounded. Maybe cool off the shadows a little more. with some ultramarine blue. I'm just throwing color on the page to create visual interest. It's not like I'm looking at the model, you know, and picking realistic colors. It's all very imaginative, arbitrary. Darken her clothing so that it doesn't look like the skin. Okay, and I think this one is good. Good. Set it aside and let's work on the first one. This one I still have the photo, even though I don't really need to look at it that much. Here it's in reverse. The model is looking away from the light, so the face will be in shadow, which is always interesting effect. I just love that that ink doesn't bleed because it was so hard. I was trying to, you know, preserve my line work and it will all run. You get really interesting effects with it too, but you just have to do some really inventive brush work to get it to work, you know, to have the end result that you want. Okay, maybe throw in some of magenta, could be interesting. In those sketches, you know, it's not something formal that I'm doing to show to anybody. I mean, I'm showing them to you, but it's not like I'm going to submit them to a show or anything. So I really like to experiment with colors. That's, you know, our chance to be creative and do something different, you know, be brave and try stuff. Add a few shadows on the face and on the neck. Gives it an interesting effect. And let's just do the same purple for the clothing. I was too hasty here. I need to lift this because this is my the side where I have the light. Okay, and do the same thing on the pants. So light on this side, so I need a little more color here. And we're gonna cool it off on the shadow side. And I just hate when it's the same, you know, both legs are the same, so I'm gonna add more color on this one so it looks different. And now we just need to do something for her hand got painted over. We can throw some skin tone on there, some ochre maybe. Give her a little more defined cheekbones. And I need to do something in the ear. Not sure the ear is just the thing. Okay, and I would like to do something on the background, just real quick. Maybe use the same ochre on the shadow side. I like to kind of reverse the background, because usually when the light falls on the figure on the wall, it's gonna, you know, be on the other side of the figure. So I think it just looks more like more logical, makes sense. And maybe run it this way as well, just a little bit. And then What else can we use? We can throw in some green maybe, kind of close. It's olive green, it's close to the yellow and ochre that I put on the background. Give her like a little flooring here. We can show that she's sitting on the stool. And I feel like I need to cool off the background just a bit. Let's see. Purple probably not gonna work. Maybe not. Maybe it's good. Once it mixes with yellow, it becomes a nice neutral shade. Throw it on this side just for balance. And don't ask me what this is. It's just something to fill the page. How about Mineral Violet, my go-to color for figure sketches. Neutralize this green a little bit. And this is probably too wet, but I'm gonna try and go back with some line work just to add some accents, because I see it's really dark over here. And she'll have a shadow to the nose. And I would like to do more line work on the hair, show that it's curly. And show that ear that I didn't draw right. But now I can add the details that I forgot. So there will be shadow here, shadow here. A little darker on this side. I can show the fabric folds a little better. And it's always good to ground the figure and give them something to sit on and darken it maybe a little bit. And to balance it, I'm going to add some more lines to the background.